basically a holiday here in America. The Super Bowl's happening today. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I just thought it was nice NBA.
Just unusually light schedule in the NBA.
Yeah, I thought we had a nice, easy day.
Like the people who run the NBA are no dummies. They're not putting on games opposite the Super Bowl, right?
Smart.
Yeah,
Very
it's
smart.
probably a smart move. Nonetheless, there are 4 games, 3 of them now in the books, including just over in Houston, Pelicans and the Rockets at Zion Williamson up top on the lobby went for 21 and 10 in a career high 32 minutes. James Harden looking like James Harden the last couple of games. 11 of his 40 in the fourth. And the Rockets get the win 117-109 as he goes for 40, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. Houston has now won 5 of their last 7. And after a pretty miserable January for not only Harden, but the Rockets, who remember were just 7-7 in the month. Signs of life here on Friday. And again today where Harden looked more like himself.
Yeah, and the best thing for Houston, Matt, is that as bad as January might have felt for the team, it was Russell Westbrook's take off in a Rockets uniform. To me, that's something you can build on if you're Houston going forward. Is now you got James kind of back in his normal space, and Russ is fully integrated, comfortable, and ready to roll.
It's an interesting dynamic between those two. It seems rare when they both play really, really well. And today it was Westbrook who was 9 of 24 from the field. Yeah,
listen, there are going to be some brutal shooting nights when you chuck it as much as they do, but that's how they play. That's how they've been effective. And look, Russ has never been one to concern himself with his own shooting percentage. I think he's going to continue to play and do whatever it takes to extinguish the energy that he always does. But if you're Mike D'Antoni, you needed to maybe hit this bump now so you can avoid it later in the season.
Pelicans out-rebounded the Rockets by 20. Houston shot 16 of 51 from three-point range and still managed to win the game, in large part because they didn't turn it over, just 7 turnovers on the afternoon. The Bucks are still on a 70-win pace. That's even after Friday's loss to the Denver Nuggets, and they were up against Phoenix. The Suns making their annual visit to Milwaukee. That's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that's just way too easy for him. As Chris Middleton found him, and then Middleton, the All-Star takes it himself here. Middleton goes 9 of 15 for 25 points. He had 8 boards and 6 assists. Giannis goes for 30 again, 19 rebounds and 9 assists. And Milwaukee extends their league-leading margin of victory with a 21-point win. This team is just a machine.
Whatever that button is that they push every time they walk into the Fiserv Forum, it's working. I mean, it doesn't matter who they play. And that's, to me, the sign of a team, Matt, that's really ready to take off is they don't care about the opposition. They're not worried about who's on the other side or what the other team might be trying to do. They just go out and play their game night after night. And to me, when you develop that muscle memory in this league, that's when you're ready to make a deep playoff run and contend for a championship.
Proof's in the pudding, and that's in April and May with this team. We'll know if they've made that leap. But for now, boy, they are just rolling even after the loss on Friday. Also in progress, Bulls and the Raptors. This game now midway through the third quarter. That's Thad Young knocking down the 3 there. And then inside, Serge Ibaka. Zach LaVine, he kind of was there and then he wasn't. And it's a 6-point Raptor lead for a Toronto team that is on a roll again. It's good to have healthy players in your lineup. We've proven this over and over again in NBA history. Toronto on a 10-game win streak, one shy of their franchise record right now, and up by 6 with 5 minutes and 16 seconds to go in 7 in the third quarter. And Toronto, to me, is as impressive as any team in the league this season, considering the potential for championship hangover and the loss of, by agreement, one of the top 3 players in the NBA, depending on who's doing the rankings.
No question. You know what the weird thing is for me about the Raptors? We rarely hear anybody talking about Nick Nurse for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
He's going to be representing the East in the All-Star game.
Right.
He's presiding over a situation.
I'm sorry. He's going to represent Team Giannis.
Well, Team Giannis. I'm sorry. Excuse me. But he's presiding over a situation, Matt, that could have easily gone awry.
Absolutely.
They come back with any slippage in any direction, there could have been a huge hangover. No Kawhi. All these other guys feeling really good about themselves. It would have been a prime time for them to take a step back, and instead, their continued improvement as a group, to me, is amazing. It's remarkable. Pascal Siakam, an all-star starter, really coming in his own. And then you have all these other young guys who have gotten some really good minutes while they've had injuries. So now you've developed that second group, to me, ready and willing to go out there and perform in a postseason setting. They're going to be a very difficult out in the Eastern Conference.
They've had a ton of injuries. They still play great defense even without Kawhi Leonard on the roster. And it's not just the macro with Toronto. If you watch them game to game, Nick Nurse is as creative as a head coach as there is in the NBA.
There were people making fun of them during the finals last year before they won. Oh, why are they doing this? Why are they coming with these junk defenses? You have to be flexible. If you're going to win and win at the highest level and seize that moment. I thought Nick Nurse did that fabulously during the finals, and I think it's continued now. You see that some of those things you thought were gimmicks were really just really intense coaching strategies that some guys aren't confident enough to try. We have a lot of coaches in this league, for better or worse, who will follow the script. Whatever the modus operandi in the league is, that's what they're doing. Nick Nurse has decided to throw that out and do it his own way, and it's paying off for him.
See a guy who believes in himself. He's coached a lot of different places. You see it the way he dresses, snappy
Yes,
dresser
absolutely.
on the sideline. You see the stuff he uses. Well, at least one of those defenses, he said he pulled from a coach's clinic in an Iowa high school conference at some point.
You got to use what works.
He put it back in the memory